Thank you for joining. My name is Gary Underwood. I'm Group Vice President of Government Affairs with Charter Communications, or as you might recognize us as Spectrum as well. So thank you for being here and joining us on the Zoom link today for a very special announcement that we're excited to share with you today from Spectrum's Smart Cities team and US Ignite. We'll be hearing more about our announcement in just a few moments. But first, I'd like to recognize a few of the special guests that you will be hearing from throughout our program this morning. So joining us today and speaking later will be Lieutenant Governor John Husted, Ohio Senate President Matt Huffman, Ohio House Speaker Mr. Bob Cupp, and Mayor of Lima, David Berger. We look forward to hearing from these gentlemen shortly. You know, Ohio is a very important state for Charter Communications. We serve nearly 2.5 million customers here in the state with Spectrum TV, internet, mobile, and voice, and we employ more than 7,500 Ohioans. At Charter, we're committed to continually investing in and expanding and improving our network across the state. This includes extending our broadband network to more unserved communities and helping move businesses, small, medium, and enterprise scale businesses forward with our industry-leading telecommunication services. We're particularly excited to be announcing a new project for the state that will impact Lima, Ohio, and the entire state, but we'll start in Lima, Ohio today. Following this announcement and remarks from our guests, there will be an opportunity for press to submit questions. And if you're familiar with the Zoom portal, which hopefully all of you are by now, questions can be submitted at any point during the event using the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, which is just available a click away. So we'll get started with our first speakers, and that is Bill Wallace and Satya Parimi. They're here to share the announcement and provide more detail on what we're doing in Lima. Bill is the chairman of the board of directors for US Ignite. Satya Parimi is Group Vice President of Enterprise Data Products and Smart Cities with Spectrum Enterprise. Bill brings more than 40 years of experience in the telecommunications industry. Most recently, he co-founded Digital Bridge Communications. He was also the co-founder and CEO of One Point Communications, serving as head of their telecommunications practice, and was also Chief Operating Officer of Gemini Consulting. Satya Parimi, also with us today, is responsible for the full product lifecycle management and development of innovative data and cloud services with Charter. He has been highly involved in the development, launch, and management of products targeting small, medium, and enterprise scale businesses. Please help me welcome Bill Wallace and Satya Parimi.
Thanks, Gary. We're delighted to be working with InnovateOhio, DriveOhio, Lima, and Spectrum to address an important challenge facing the citizens of Lima. As Gary mentioned, US Ignite is a high-tech, public-private nonprofit with a mission to advance US leadership in wireless networking via a National Science Foundation-funded $100 million program called Platforms for Advanced Wireless Research, and to accelerate the smart community movement via an NSF's inspired program called Smart Gigabit Communities. With the selection today of Ohio and Lima to become part of the Smart Gigabit Communities Network, Ohio and Lima join 37 other communities that collaborate to develop services to address key challenges like traffic safety, encourage growth in startups and jobs, and drive investments in innovation zones. The ongoing success of this program rests not only on the participation of great partners like Spectrum, InnovateOhio, and DriveOhio, but also the active participation of a broad-based community steering group to ensure that community engagement, trust, commitment to equity guide the projects from day one. In addition to tackling difficult traffic challenge in Lima, we expect Ohio and Lima to benefit from participation in this program in other ways, through smart community best practices and toolkits, identification of economic development opportunities, access to federal funding sources, and national recognition. We look forward to partnering with Spectrum in Ohio again, and remain very impressed with the quality of the foundational network, Spectrum's deep team, and its willingness to tackle even the toughest community-defined challenges. Most recently, we partnered on a similar program in another city that is leading not only to solutions for traffic, pedestrian safety, but also to follow on projects like ones helping students learn marine science remotely by adopting their own underwater reefs, and success in identifying and winning a multi-million dollar federal grant to accelerate the efforts. Now I'd like to pass the baton to my senior partner at Spectrum, Preemi.
Thank you, Bill. Good morning, everyone. Like you, I'm also excited for the opportunity to discuss our newest smart city collaboration with US Ignite, the state of Ohio, and city of Lima. And at Spectrum, we believe every city has the potential to be a smart city. At a very basic level, a smart city is one that leverages technology to improve the city operations and enhance services for all the people that live, work, and play in that city. And for any smart city, the basic foundational element, of course, is the network. And the Spectrum network is already part of many communities across the US, including Lima, Ohio, which is where we're going to start our smart city initiatives with the state. Our goal with smart city initiatives is to help embrace the art of the possible. We bring Spectrum, that is, networks and a large partner ecosystem of partners who have sensors, analytics, and software, and successfully we plan to work with the cities to make their day-to-day problems or day-to-day challenges tackled with the use of this technology. We've had the good fortune of working with US Ignite for several years. I think Bill mentioned projects we've done in other states. And now we are excited to have this opportunity to work with a couple of innovation leaders within Ohio, specifically DriveOhio and InnovateOhio. And we're going to kick off this collaboration in the city of Lima, where we're exploring ways to improve traffic congestion and safety at railroad crossings, which has been a problem for the city for a number of different years. And not just with Lima, other cities we work with in the state, we'll work on transportation projects by bringing our expertise, the Spectrum network, and tools and assistance so that we can solve for the problems that some of the others on the call today are going to talk through in more detail. The needs of each of the cities are pretty unique in terms of the problems they're trying to solve, but we commit to bring resources to the project to make sure these are successful. So in closing, I would say we're really proud as Spectrum to play the role of a smart city enabler. We're very invested in the success of these initiatives because we are part of the community, because in a number of communities like Lima and others across Ohio, we build and maintain and run a complex network and solution. So we're really honored to be able to help the city of Lima have a positive impact.
Thank you, Preemi and Bill. We appreciate it very much. We're gonna move to the Lieutenant Governor, but stand by because I know there'll be questions from the audience at the end, and we'll see you in a few moments. It is now my privilege to introduce our partner at the state of Ohio, and that's Lieutenant Governor John Husted. The Lieutenant Governor has been serving in his current role since January of 2019. He oversees the Ohio Common Sense Initiative and serves as the director of both the Governor's Office of Workforce Transformation and InnovateOhio. And it's my pleasure to welcome him now, Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Gary. It's great to be able to join everybody here today. This is a really fantastic and interesting announcement. I want to thank Spectrum. I know that we talk with Spectrum often about how we can involve the private sector in solving public challenges. And we appreciate your ongoing commitment to Ohio and our team as we look to do that. I want to thank Bill Wallace and the US Ignite team. Great to have your involvement in Ohio, with the Smart Cities initiatives that you bring. And obviously having the Lima contingent of Speaker Cupp and Senate President Matt Huffman and Mayor Berger. It's great to have all of them involved in this as well today. Governor DeWine and I have from the very beginning, when we created InnovateOhio, have said that we want to use technology to improve the way we serve our customers, improve the lives of the people who live in Ohio, and to take what the infrastructure and the innovation that can come from technological advancement and apply them to real world situations where we improve people's lives. This is an example of it. And you will also hear me say often that those who collaborate best are the ones who win. And this is a collaboration of a number of entities who've come together to solve a problem. You may ask, why Lima? I will tell you, if you've ever been to Lima, you know that there's a need for this. This is an infrastructure and traffic challenge that the community has. I know when we say smart cities, people might think New York or even in Ohio, Columbus, but in this case, Lima joins the list of smart cities where we're using technology to improve the way people move about and travel. Let me also say is that I look at this, you know, we've got something going with DriveOhio and a variety of driver assist and driverless technologies and interactions between infrastructure and automobiles and a variety of other initiatives to improve travel in the state of Ohio. We have the Transportation Research Center that's basically between Lima and Columbus, where a lot of these things are going on. I think that the existence of these initiatives offer hope for more efforts to test and look at other options to use this technology to grow the economy. I think Lima can be part of that conversation, and we can see even bigger and better things coming there in the future. You know, I'm grateful that everybody came together to pull this project, to make this announcement today, to take the technology to improve the way that we work and serve people in Lima. And I want to thank Spectrum and the folks at the US Ignite team and our local partners on this. And I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to get this started, but I also am excited about what I think this could potentially hold for the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your very kind words and your partnership. And thank you for taking time to be with us today. Also taking time to be with us today are our other guests who will be joining us now. And that includes Ohio Senate President Matt Huffman from Ohio's 12th State Senate District. We also are very privileged to have Ohio House Speaker Bob Cupp. That's the Ohio 4th House District, is what he represents. I feel like I'm announcing the starting lineup here. This is great. And we also have the mayor of Lima, Mr. David Berger. We're going to hear from all three of these gentlemen, and we're going to first hand the ball off to Senator Huffman. Please take it away, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Gary. It's great to be here. It is a great starting lineup. You may not know it, that the city council used to play the mayor and his administration in a softball game on July 4th. And Dave Berger was the cleanup hitter on his team then, and I guess he still is here today. So, but I want to thank Spectrum for doing this. They, of course, have been great partners in a number of ventures through the years, both in Lima and throughout the state. And Gary and his team are great to work with. You know, folks from Lima have known for a long time that we're a smart city with a small s, and now we can make it a capital S. This is a very exciting time. And Governor Husted, Lieutenant Governor Husted, touched on this, that you know, Lima is a place that is ripe for this kind of innovation and advancement, not just because you know, it's a city with you know, among other things, 2 hospitals inside and a number of industries that are part of our greater community, but we have a great history of innovation in a number of business sectors. And, you know, additionally, you know, it's about 70 miles to Dayton and 70 miles to Toledo, which in essence means Lima is a regional hub for 10 or 12 counties. People come to Lima to go to the hospital. They'll start coming back to go to the movies and shop and things like that. And the traffic issue that was touched upon has been an issue that when I started on city council in 1992 with Mayor Berger as the mayor, we've been dealing with for a long time. There's been some great things done. We were just starting the first railroad underpass back in the early 90s. We've been able to, with the mayor's leadership, get a couple more done, but that's a 30-year process, as you can see. So this innovation is really going to be helpful to the city. And I'm really very encouraged, I guess even thrilled that Spectrum would choose my hometown. And I know that the mayor and Speaker Cupp are thrilled about it also. So thanks very much for including me in today's event.
I'm Bob Cupp, and I'm delighted to be with you today as well. I think it's truly an exciting event, and I also want to commend US Ignite and Spectrum for choosing Lima as the next US Ignite Smart Gigabyte community. That has a big, important sounding name, and I think this project is going to do some wonderful things to showcase what can be done. This investment in the Lima community brings smart city technology here, right here, and it'll be used in a way that will have a direct positive impact, not only on residents, but potentially anyone who drives in or through the city. Anyone who lives in or around Lima has certainly experienced train delays, and it's a rather common experience. So it's really great that this grant and the resources that come with it will be used to develop more efficient ways to advise drivers when trains will be coming through, and wait times at railroad crossings, and provide suggestions for alternative time-saving routes. Just think about it. For those of you who have experienced this, knowing when a train is going to be crossing, or when it is stopped at a street that you're driving on, and you can get some real-time advice on the best way around the blockage. I think that's something really to be excited about. This 3-year grant promises to help alleviate a long-time problem in an innovative way. And I agree with Lieutenant Governor, whom I also want to commend for leading the technology initiatives in the state of Ohio and being a partner through InnovateOhio and DriveOhio in this process, because this collaboration is another example of where working together achieves more than working separately or apart. And so I do commend this partnership to help facilitate the use of technology to improve people's lives right here in Lima. Usually as President Huffman mentioned, these creative technology collaborations are only something that Lima and Allen County residents read about happening in much bigger cities. So it's very promising, I believe, that the grant will enable some innovative technology to be deployed right here in our community, a small city. It's a recognition, I believe, that communities of all sizes have needs and problems that can be alleviated or reduced by the use of innovative technology. So I'm also pleased to salute this partnership and the grant announced here together. It's really positive thing, and looking forward to the good things that it'll bring over the next few years.
Good morning, everyone. I'm really pleased to be able to participate this morning with Senator Cupp and or Speaker Cupp and Senator Huffman, along with Lieutenant Governor Houston and the others that have spoken already. I want to mention to you that Lima just finished last year a major project, which was referenced by Mr. Huffman, which was a grade separation on the east side of town. It took us 20 years to get that done, and $18 million. And it was on the major entrance, a major corridor into our community. And it used to, the trains there would block ambulances getting to both of our hospitals. It would block commerce, and it was not a good situation. But it took us, again, 20 years. That's 20 years we don't have to solve that problem at all of our other grade crossings. We have 40 other grade crossings in the city. And I look out my window and where we have both Norfolk Southern and CSX Railroad running on the east side of our downtown. And we have 35 trains a day that run through our downtown. Now you can imagine the kind of traffic congestion that results trying to traverse our community, whether you are on a bicycle or whether you're a pedestrian or whether you are in a car or a truck or an ambulance. That kind of vehicle and train conflict happens every day for tens of thousands of our community residents. So the opportunity for us to partner with DriveOhio and with all of the partners is truly a partnership that is focused on solving a long-standing problem that has really daily consequences for us. And we very much appreciate this opportunity.
Well, thank you, Mayor. We appreciate that. Speaker Cobb, Senator Huffman, thank you for your very kind words and for being here. I know your commitment to Lima and your hometowns and that passion and enthusiasm comes through here. So thank you for that. We want to bring back everyone who has spoken up until this point. Lieutenant Governor, Satya Parimi, and Bill Wallace, and we're going to take a couple of questions. And if you have questions, again, I would point you to the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen, which we should all be familiar with by now. And if you have a question, please submit that. I'm going to start it. The mayor gave a really complete sort of picture of how some of this is going to work. But Mayor, I was going to ask you just if you wanted to take that just a level deeper to tie the partnership here with another real world example of how you see us partnering together to improve further improve the city of Lima. Sure.
When you think about a railroad running through your town, for us, that experience is not just the fact that it happens to be moving. It also, we have railroad yards, which means you've got trains being put together, disassembled, and you've got traffic, rail traffic that's going both directions multiple times, and it literally can tie up a rail crossing, a street intersection for a half hour. We're not talking 5 minutes. We're talking delays that can be a half hour long. And that happens on both sides of town. You also have the trains that are often, as I said, we've got Norfolk Southern, CSX, literally side by side on the east side of our downtown, and we can have trains going both directions multiple times a day. And those trains can be 100 units long. Again, things can be tied up here for not just minutes, but long periods of time, impacting commerce, impacting the ability for safety services, fire trucks to be able to get across town, ambulances to be able to respond to needs. So the opportunity to create systems that can monitor, can in fact guide, and ultimately provide real-time information for anyone who's trying to get across town, I think is a need that is here. But I got to tell you, if we solve it for Lima, it's going to get solved for the entire state. It's going to get solved for communities all across the country. That's great. So looking down at the Q&A, a couple more questions have popped up. And one is about the technology, and this is probably for Bill or Parimi, but everyone weigh in. Tell us specifically about the technology, how it works, and what it will do in sort of terms of improving the lives of Lima residents.
I can start off with that. This is Satya Parimi from Spectrum. I know we're announcing this today, but we've been actually working with the city for a few months already. We've looked at the challenge and the problem we're trying to solve for in terms of predictability of the arrival of a train, the length it takes, or the time it takes for the train to pass by. So we're looking at a combination of sensors, devices, and video to collect information on a train as it approaches a crossing or before it gets to a crossing, and we initially plan to collect the information, share that with the appropriate entities in the city, and then eventually use that data to then predict how long would it take for a train to arrive at the intersection, or how long it would take for the train to pass an intersection. So those are some of the analysis we're doing. And the current plan is to provide a lot of the information to the city and to other entities, and not directly to the citizens themselves at the crossing, because there's safety and other implications. But in short, it's a combination of sensors to detect the trains, video analytics, and then doing some predictive analysis on top.
Thanks, Brahmi. Another question, Katie from WLIO is asking when residents of Lima can expect to start to see some of these projects, popping up. What is the timing?
I can take that, and maybe if the mayor or someone want to chime in also. We've been having conversations over the last couple of months to understand the problem statement, to understand the situation in terms of what railroad crossings, what type of railroad crossings, what assets are available around the railroad crossings to put these sensors and devices. If not for COVID, we would have been on site doing some surveys, looking at different assets, but there is continuing work going on. We are planning to, because of COVID, build some of this in our lab in Denver here, where we have our spectrum engineering offices, but is actually a train line that's right outside the office. So we are actively testing some of this technology, but we plan to get that out into Lima, throughout the year. And we continue to talk with the city around, and again with DriveOhio and InnovateOhio on when we can put some of these things out in the field to try them out.
I have no idea how quickly this gets delivered. I do know that we have been, I put my hand up with DriveOhio about 18 months ago, and they responded, and we drilled down to this particular need as really a high priority for us. We then took the next step of actually involving Ohio Northern University and their School of Engineering to do some baseline assessment for us, and that then led DriveOhio to introduce us to both Spectrum and US Ignite. So it has been it has been an ongoing set of tasks, and one that we're all committed to. And I think it will, with these partners in particular and their experience and capability, I'm very excited about some relatively, it's not going to take us 20 years. This is not building an underpass. So that's, I think, what really gives me a near-term hope for some relief that we all need.
And just one last question back on the technology from the audience. Receiving the information, is that through some sort of app-based service? How is that being shared back with residents? Brahmi?
We're not to that stage yet in terms of how the city wants to. As Spectrum, we're trying to enable collection of this information and sharing of this information with the city. And we're going to have the city drive how that information gets out to the citizens. Is it through an app, or is it through integrated with existing apps? Like there are APIs you can feed into mapping software, like you have Waze or Google Maps. There's ways around that. We're also looking at the commercial side of this, where there are commercial entities would like to understand the traffic patterns so they can route traffic accordingly. Commercial traffic, but we've not decided specifically which app residents can use to get this information. We're having a combination of the city and DriveOhio, InnovateOhio help us guide who gets the information in what form, because there's a number of implications on what information we share and what's the expectation on what that information is saying. So there's a lot of other implications on sharing information on, you don't want to tell someone a train's coming in 10 seconds or 30 seconds or a minute. without understanding the consequences of someone trying to, go there, go past the crossing in advance of the train coming, for example.
A lot of the technologies that we have been pushing out through DriveOhio and others inform your existing tools. They inform your ways, they inform your Google Maps, they help enhance the tools you already have.
Right. Well put, very well put. Yes.
I should have given that to the Lieutenant Governor.
I know.
You guys, this is great. Well, as we roll this out and this evolves, we look forward to more conversations and sort of more interaction between the state of Ohio, Spectrum Enterprise, and with all the partners here with us today. Bill from US Ignite, Mr. Mayor, Speaker Cupp, Mr. President, and Lieutenant Governor Husted, thank you so much for being here and being a part of this. It has been my pleasure to host this and to chat with each of you. I think this is great news for the state of Ohio. I think it's great news for Lima. And as we continue to evolve and find new ways to partner and to expand on the existing partnership that we've announced here today, I'm sure we'll have much more to talk about with you in the future. Thank you so much for joining. I'll give you back the rest of your hour. Everyone have a great Tuesday. Cheers.